We live in a revolving world of media, where we are constantly being fed with new pieces of content, whether that be new TV shows, new pieces of music, films, and of course, social media, where the new norm is for people to scroll through hundreds of videos at a time that last anywhere from 5 to 30 seconds. In fact, at least 70% of the people who will watch this video will have clicked off it by the time I get to this sentence. Hey, wait a minute, where are you guys going? But that's just the general nature of how most people consume media nowadays. Due to declining attention spans and our needs being constantly fed, it feels like no matter how fantastic the piece of media is, even if it's the talk of the town, people always tend to move on to the next thing soon after. And that is absolutely no different with video games, especially in the modern day, when it feels like every week a new must-play game comes out, so little time and far too much to play. So it makes it hard for a game to leave an impression on me, due to the nature of how many different games I play, and I will play a game and finish it, or even in some instances where I really liked the game, I'll perhaps go out of my way to either get all the trophies if I'm playing a game on PlayStation, or get 100% if I'm playing on any other platform. So with pretty much every game I play a fairly decent amount of it. But with most games I play, and even if I enjoyed the game a lot, it's safe to say a couple of weeks after I finished it, I don't tend to think much about it. Games such as Astrobot, Nine Souls and Metaphor ReFantazio from last year were, in my opinion, all 10 out of 10 experiences for me, and I really enjoyed my time with them and think back on them fondly. They're games that I have moved on from though, and haven't given much thought since I finished them, but every once in a while there comes along a game that just seems to resonate more than others, whether it's due to the game's story, setting, music or gameplay. There tends to be a certain reason a game resonates with you personally. In recent memory for me, Persona 3 sticks out as a game that stuck with me once I had finished it. A beautifully harrowing ending made me think about it constantly for a long time after I rolled the credits. Memories of You is one of the most beautiful songs I've heard in my life, and I still listen to it pretty consistently to this day. But other than that, it's really hard to think about a game that stuck with me so much. That was until the release of Clair Obscur Expedition 33. If you are fed up of hearing how absolutely incredible this video game is, then this video is just not for you, as I'm going to go into extensive detail on just why I can't get over this masterpiece. So like many people out there, I wasn't quite ready for just how good Expedition 33 was going to be. The day before release and seeing those review scores, the game was being received so much better than even I anticipated. I knew this game was going to be special, but when I eventually got my hands on it and saw that title screen and heard that music, I knew this game was going to be something special for me. And 10 days later and 50 hours played, I was done and ready to move on to the next thing as I usually do. But the process felt a lot harder this time round, and I normally try and mix what I play in terms of the genre, and I feel like playing a game with a heavy story emphasis, a game where I can just switch my brain off and just enjoy a game with high intensity gameplay. And after going through a heavy story with Expedition 33, I needed something like Doom Eternal. A game that, no offense to Doom fans, has a story that I couldn't care less about, and probably has some of the most action-packed, fast-paced first-person shooting you can play. Quite the contrast from the turn-based combat of Expedition 33. But as I boot up Doom, and I get into the first couple of levels, I just find my mind going elsewhere. As Mick Gordon's fantastic heavy metal tracks were blasting through the TV, this sound was just floating around my brain while thinking about what I just played and how absolutely incredible of an experience it was, and when would be the next time I would experience a game as good as this. And there's absolutely no disrespect to Doom Eternal, because that is a great game, but for me, there's no comparison, and that feeling hasn't changed weeks later. I've even played and finished Devil May Cry 1 for the first time. Great game, really holds up quite well considering the age, but my heart can't seem to move on from Expedition 33, and even now, as I'm writing this script, I'm halfway through Infamous Second Son, enjoying myself, but still over a month later, I'm watching every video I see about the game, and watching people's reactions to certain story moments, and there hasn't been a day since I finished the game where I haven't listened to a certain battle theme at least 3 times a day. The stranglehold this game has on my heart is truly something I've never experienced before in all my years of gaming, and possibly a feeling I may never feel again. So why is it I can't shake this game from my heart? So what about the game makes it so special to me, other than the fact that the game is absolutely phenomenal and literally swings for everything and doesn't miss with anything? Well, it's the personal feeling I have not only towards the game, but the development team and the story of how this game was brought to life through nothing but love, passion and a talented team that weren't held hostage by any corporate overhead, a game that if it was pitched to a AAA company, it would have never seen the light of day, and it doesn't shoe in pointless microtransactions and try to ram a battle pass down people's throats. No. Sandfall Interactive are a small, passionate team comprised of just over 30 people who are either former employers at the biggest French developers Ubisoft or junior devs who were working on their first project, and the talent shined through from this first trailer that was shown last summer, and that's where my love affair started with the game. It was the standout game of the showcase to me, and as soon as it was shown I was foaming at the mouth to find out more about what I had just seen, as at the time no one knew who Sandfall Interactive were and what they were capable of. So after they released the trailer, they had a reaction video on Twitter, and in that video we saw the whole team in that video, and I was like, whoa. This isn't a AAA production, but what I had just seen could rival something that Square Enix would have made in their prime. And being made by such a small team, that made me instantly start rooting for the underdog Sandfall, as Square Enix had very publicly stated that a turn-based RPG would not be able to make an impact in modern gaming era, as they believed that people had moved on and would only be interested in an action-based system like they did with FF16. Then comes along this unknown, unproven French indie studio that couldn't disagree more with Square, and believed that there is a distinct lack of these types of games in the modern era, and decided to do what Enix won't, and I was here for it. And then the voice cast was revealed for the game. Jennifer English, Charlie Cox, Andy Serkis, mother flipping Ben Starr. My interest was elevated to another level, an indie turn-based RPG that looks like a AAA game and has one of the most stacked English voice casts in a game in recent memory. The writing was on the wall from this point forward that this game was going to be something special, and it was going to leave an impact, and the rest is really history. The game was released and has taken the gaming world by storm, but even though it feels like the whole gaming world has their eyes on Sandfall and what is next for them, despite it all, the way Sandfall have acted since the release has been nothing but humility and love, as they are as blown away with the success as we are, and they just love everything that's coming with it, including people making fan art and covering the songs in the game. They even have the details for costumes of the characters for the people who are cosplaying them. They are actively endorsing other games releases such as 100 Line Academy that was released the same week as Expedition 33 and got buried under the success of it. This is a team of individuals who care not about only the game that they made, but also the industry surrounding it. Just like you and I, they simply love games and want to see the industry succeed. And knowing all this, I just don't know how you can't love Sandfall Interactive. Expedition 33 has the greatest story in any game I've ever played. It has the best turn-based combat in any game I have ever played, and some of the most compelling, interesting and intelligently written characters in any game I've ever played, and its music is simply the greatest OST for a single game I have ever heard. To say this game means a lot to me is perhaps putting it ever so lightly, as I have never been this affected by a game in nearly 20 years of playing games, and trust me, I have played a lot of games in that time, but none of them have made me feel like this. I know what you're thinking though. Recency bias. You're someone caught up in the moment, and 12 months down the line, you won't feel the same. Well, I will tell you now, I can't look into the future and tell you what I will be doing in 12 months from now. But one thing I can promise you is that this game will still mean as much to me as it does right now, because I've played so many fantastic games that I've cared deeply for and thought about long after I've reached the credits. But no game since Kingdom Hearts 2 has a game grabbed my heart and refused to let go. No game since Wind Waker has a game reaffirmed my love for gaming, and no game ever has made me cry like the ending to this game did. Not only for the gut-wrenching story moments, but also the fact is, I don't know when I'll ever play a game that will hit for me like Expedition 33 has. Maybe nothing ever will. I don't know how Sandfall will ever top it, but due to the faith and love I now have for this studio, I believe whatever they do next is going to be great. And I and many others wait in bated breath But in the meantime, I will keep championing this masterpiece to whoever will listen, and when December rolls around, watch as it gets awarded with the awards it no doubtably deserves, because I'm just not ready to move on from Expedition 33. I will one day, but that day isn't today, because tomorrow comes. If you watched to the end, thank you. I really do appreciate it. This was just another passion ramble about a game that means a hell of a lot to me, and just why I can't move on from it. So if you liked the video, please consider liking and subscribing. It does mean a lot to a small channel like mine, and hopefully I will see you again soon.